ice on his head. And, you know, it goes on and on and on. You look and you go, wait a minute. Uh, why would you put yourself in that position? I mean, that's certainly what I say. Hold on one second. Okay, there we go. So, the you never can tell about these things. So this guy goes into the embassy, gets killed, gets dismembered, and no one can really tell us what's going on. The CIA says, well, the crown prince ordered it. The crown prince says he didn't. The king says he didn't. But of course, what we have to understand about the Islamic faith and Islamic culture and Muslims is that they practice something called taqiyya. What's taqiyya? It's the deceiving of non-Muslims that, uh, for the sake of their agenda, whatever their agenda is, that they can tell lies, and those lies are forgiven. So as I sit here and I've read this article on President Trump, and he's come out and said, "Hey, you know, wait a minute. I am not going to upset all the deals we're doing with Saudi Arabia because they supposedly, we don't have any proof that they supposedly killed Nazi." My question is, why would this guy go to an embassy like this, knowing that there's danger? You know, that's kind of like tickling the lion's throat with your head in his mouth. Okay, not good. Not probably the best thing to do. But the president was very clear. He said he thanks Saudi Arabia for defying calls to punish the uh, crown prince over these killings. Now, Democrats and some Republicans now are slamming the president for his statement backing the Saudis. The statement, the president said that, they said he appeared to append this himself. Mr. Trump suggested that the U.S. wouldn't impose further punishment on Saudi Arabia over the killing, and said it was unknowable whether the crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman, had ordered it. Hmm. The statement was intended as the final word on the matter that the president sought to quell after weeks of intense scrutiny, intense debate. In fact, Lindsey Graham even got in on the TV and criticized the president, and it was interesting. It was interesting, but Donald Trump is very clear. He's like, "Hey, wait a minute. Um, we can't stop the multi-million dollar deals that we have going on because one guy decided that he was going to defy or tickle the lion's throat." Let's hear what the president had to say from the president, if we can. Hold on. Here we
Billions of dollars in orders and let Russia, China, and everybody else have them. It's all about, for me, very simple. It's America first. Saudi Arabia, if we, I think your oil prices would go through the roof. I've kept them down. They've helped me keep them down. Right now we have low oil prices, or relatively. I'd like to see it go down even lower, but I don't make deals with Saudi Arabia. I don't have money from Saudi Arabia. I have nothing to do with Saudi Arabia. I couldn't care less. And I will tell you, and as most of you know, being president has cost me a fortune, and that's okay with me. I knew that a long time ago. Right now, we have oil prices in great shape. I'm not going to destroy the world economy, and I'm not going to destroy the economy for our country by being foolish with Saudi Arabia. They didn't make a determination. And it's just like I said, I think it was maybe.
Wow. The president's very clear. He's like, "Hey, wait a minute. Let's
A
deal with
lot.
this."
They have nothing definitive. We are with Saudi Arabia. We're staying with Saudi Arabia. And by the way, just so everybody.
And the president's very clear. He said, "Hey, I don't have any business with Saudi Arabia. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. I don't have any business with Saudi Arabia. I'm putting America first. I'm not going to destroy our economy over something we can't prove. And the CIA, as far as I know, someone was telling me, we were debating this morning at the gym, if the CIA came up with anything on the Saudi killing. And a friend of mine said, well, it's not like the CIA's hands are clean. They've killed a lot of people. I'm going, well, yeah, they have, but uh, they noted, this is what they said here, that the CIA finds that the crown prince ordered the Kanazi killing. This is in the Guardian, and in the Guardian, this is in the Guardian. Was it yesterday? Let's see. It looks like it was yeah, Saturday. It was in the Guardian Saturday the 17th. It said, and I thought I had read this before. It said the CIA concluded that the Saudi crown prince, Prince Mohammed bin Salman, ordered the assassination of the journalist Jamal Kanazi in Istanbul. Wow. Well, we know a hit squad came into the embassy and really took this guy out. I mean, whoop. But the question I've always asked is why would Kanazi, knowing this danger existed and giving his girlfriend the phone and saying, hey, if I'm not out in half an hour, do XYZ, I don't think he expected to be killed and dismembered. And they still haven't found his body. Have you noticed they've stopped talking about produce the body? Where's the body? I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not that I'm all that interested. I mean, it's one guy. Sorry, I just can't get excited about the media tried to generate buzz. Oh, he's an American citizen. No, he wasn't an American citizen. He was still he was not naturalized. He was just working for the Washington Post. He had a column in the Washington Post. Wow. The strongest assessment to date linking Saudi Arabia and the crown prince, who is considered the de facto ruler, to the killing, and it kind of complicates President Trump's efforts to safeguard U.S. ties with one of the America's closest allies in that region. Saudi Arabia is the tip of the spear in the Middle East. Now, there are a lot of things that go on in Saudi Arabia, from what I understand, and I don't know this because I haven't been there. Well, this is only what I read. There are no churches in Saudi Arabia. I don't know that to be a fact, but I mean, you can Google it. They're supposed to be. There aren't any churches, Christianity in Saudi Arabia. Now, Trump told reporters that the CIA had not briefed the White House. So, if the CIA is making this claim and asking the president to act on a statement or a conclusion that they've made, but they haven't briefed the president, what does that say about the CIA? See, I don't like these folks in the CIA. I didn't like Brennan. I didn't like Clapper. I think they were very anti-American. In fact, Brennan had been a communist sympathizer as a young student. I could not imagine being hired by the CIA as a communist sympathizer, having that in my background. Just wouldn't happen. Wouldn't happen in yours either. Let's be clear. It just wouldn't happen, man. Sorry, but before President Trump left, that was the clip I was playing. That he was like, "Hey, I don't have any business with Saudi Arabia, but we pushed down oil prices, we pushed down gas prices at the pump. We have a great relationship with these people. They're buying weapon systems, they're buying planes, and we're not going to decimate our economy over this death." That's what they said, not me. That's what President Trump said. So President Trump went on to say, as of this moment, this is earlier today, he said, as of this moment, we were told that he did not play a role. We're going to find out. We're going to find that out one way or another. Wow. When pressed on the White House and what they would do if the crown prince were found responsible, the president just said, we're taking a look at it. You know, we also have a great ally in Saudi Arabia. They give us lots of jobs, lots of business and economic development. They have been a truly spectacular ally in terms of jobs and economic development. So, what people are saying is the president is putting jobs and economic development ahead of these actions by Saudi Arabia. Well, what about the actions of Russia? You know, Russia killed, we know that Russia killed a former Soviet spy in Great Britain in London, poisoned this man about 2 years ago. This summer, a former spy and his daughter were poisoned by the KGB, or I'm sorry, the FSB. The That's the not sister organization, but they replaced KGB after the fall of the Soviet Union. Um, it's just crazy. You know, you can't put words to these actions. You can't, rationalize what was going on here. You can't rationalize it. Uh, but people are certainly coming out against President Trump, especially Democrats and a few Republicans. But at the end of the day, it's going to be business as usual because we need their business. And Khalid bin Salman, um, who's a spokesman for the family, the Saudi Arabian family, said, as we told the Washington Post, the last contact I had with Mr. Kanazi was via text on October 26, 2017. I never talked to him by phone and certainly never suggested he go to Turkey for any reason. I asked the U.S. government to release any information regarding this claim. Wow. So the ambassador, this is from the ambassador. Now, he met with Jamal once in late September in person for a cordial discussion, and they communicated via text after the meeting. The last message, the ambassador claims, came in October 26th. Wow. Amazing. So what they're trying to claim is that the ambassador lured Kanazi to Turkey, to the Turkish embassy, and then they took him out. Somebody took him out. Somebody knew where he was going, that's for sure. But Trump has said, hey, so be it. We're not going to destroy our relationship, our economic development uh, because of this incident. And, I concur with that. A buddy of mine said Trump can do no wrong for you. That's not true. President Trump has done several things that I didn't agree with. But telling April Ryan to shut up and that other lady who accused him of being a racist, not one of them. Also, the president hanging with the Saudis and saying, "Hey, I believe the Saudis rather than these other folks." Hey, I got him. I got him. I got him full tilt. So look, we're going to segue into the break and hang in there with us as we come back. We're going to talk about due process on campus, how men are no longer being railroaded because they're men. Be right back.
Hey, this is Leonora Cravota from Red State Talk Radio for My Pillow. I used to have trouble sleeping. My Pillow changed all that. I now fall asleep within moments of my head touching my pillow. That's how comfortable My Pillow is with its patented interlocking fill. My Pillow stays cool and does not go flat. Plus, it's machine washable and dryable. My Pillow has a 10-year warranty and a 60-day comfort guarantee. My Pillow is also the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation, and it's made right here in the USA. My Pillow is now offering Red State Talk Radio listeners a 4-pack special special with 2 premium standard or queen pillows and 2 go-anywhere pillows. That's 4 pillows for the price of one. To take advantage of this special offer, call 1-800-961-9194 and ask for promo code Red State. That's 1-800-961-9194, promo code Red State. Put sleepless nights behind you with My Pillow, the most comfortable pillow you will ever own. For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Red State Talk Radio is now available as a voice command on your Amazon Echo and Echo Dot by simply saying, Alexa, play Red State Talk Radio.
Red State Talk Radio on TuneIn.
Turn to every single American. Now, we've been hearing all these stories about sanctuary cities.
You can now find us on the Amazon Echo and Echo Dot, on TuneIn, on iHeartRadio, and we also have the phone apps in the App Store for your particular phone. And just in case we activated your Echo Dot, Alexa, stop.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back to the Reality Check with Charles Butler. You know, Betsy DeVos, great lady. I've met Betsy a number of times. I think she's a great person, very common sense, very pragmatic. I've always said this is a woman who's put her money where her mouth is. She supported charter schools. She supported vouchers, using her own money at times to fund those. But in the Wall Street Journal today, on the editorial board page, they have an article that says reviving due process on campus. DeVos restores the right to cross-examination, and Democrats are outraged. You know, it became this thing where young women were claiming rape and non-consensual sex because guys weren't calling them back after having sex with them. It's kind of like the young man in San Francisco who was in an alley having sex with this girl. And these guys came up and said he was raping the young woman. Well, when we really get into the story, because see, you know, one of the things that I personally don't like about liberals is that they refuse to look at the facts. They always draw these broad conclusions that have nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the facts. So they take us, and you know, and working with these people, you know, when I work in an environment with liberals, Democrats, that's the thing that I often had to learn to settle down, process what was going on, because these people refuse to work with what's in front of them. Okay. They want to always do the abstract. So, and this is the example. In San Francisco, this young man from Stanford and these young girls got together. I don't know where the girls were from, but he was a swimmer at Stanford. I remember that. And the judge who sentenced him to 6 months probation or something like that, he got recalled and dismissed from his position as a judge. But these are the facts that surrounded the case. The young man, the young woman met in line. She was with 4 or 5 of her girlfriends. They go into the bar. She and the young man are drinking and hanging out and dancing and, you know, start to kiss and hug and cuddle and, you know, things are picking up. You know, that's what goes on these days. The hookup. Okay. She got the hookup because he's a guy. He's a good looking guy. She's a good looking girl. And I guess she decided, I want to have sex. So see, that's what happens when we kind of take the old dating game out of the mix, and we say, okay, well, women can be like men, and they can go out and sow their oats too. Well, when women sow their oats, or whatever they're called, they're called promiscuous. They're called hoes, to be just blunt about it. And I don't put the W on there, or the Ores. They call holes. So anyway, and I'm not saying that I agree with that. I'm just saying that guys, that's there was a sexual revolution for women. The guys didn't get that memo. They still want Little Miss Muffet, who hasn't had a bunch of sexual conquests, and they think they're the teacher in the relationship, and they're that old we're Americans. We're puritanical a little bit, especially guys. We want to feel that we're the guys who go out. We're the people who go out and conquer in the relationship and have these experiences and whatnot. But times have changed. So anyway, this young man and this young woman, they hook up in the bar. They decide they're going to have sex, so they go out to the alley to have sex. The girl passes out. Now, I'm thinking to myself when I first heard this, what friends of her friends would allow her to go off with this young man to do anything? They just met him. It's not like he was her boyfriend. He was a guy that they knew. He was a guy that she trusted. She just, they just met. It was a hookup. So they go out to the alley. They're trying to have sex up against a uh, garbage bin, and she passes out. Well, he's still trying to have sex with her, right? Lord have mercy. So he's on top of her. They're on the ground. He's on top of her, and these guys are passing by. And they conclude that he's raping her because he's on top of her having sex. So they go to her rescue. Okay. And, they pull him off her. They call the cops. He's arrested. So the girl comes clean and says, well, finally she comes clean after being pressed by the young man's attorneys and the cops. She comes clean and says, well, I was just going to have sex with him. That's what I wanted to do. So then the question becomes, why was he trying to have sex with a young woman who was unconscious? Well, guys out there know why, but I think it was wrong. I don't think it was right. I mean, he was trying to have sex with this woman who was obviously unconscious or had passed out. But she said, "Hey, I went out there to have sex." Yeah. So this young man's life is in an uproar. It's totally turned upside down, but he can't ask any questions. He can't defend himself. Betsy DeVos has changed all that. It's like the young men at I think it was University of Virginia, where the young woman, a stripper, black woman, said she went into a white fraternity house and she was raped, and she was, they pulled her clothes off, and this, that, and the other. And I was outraged. I can tell you, I was so outraged at first. And the boys were like, no, we didn't do that. I mean, yeah, we invited her there. She came, she stripped, but no, none of that happened. What she's talking about, she's trying to get some money. She's trying to get paid. She didn't expect this thing to blow up the way that it did and become a public, or a very public incident where the news media was in it, and lawyers, and people like Betsy DeVos, and the Secretary of Education under Obama, as well as uh, Hillary Clinton jumped in it. Excuse me, Hillary Clinton jumped in it, as well as Valerie Jarrett. So Betsy DeVos said that she wanted to restore rational discourse in American politics. She said, "Well, we'll have to keep waiting." And she said, the Betsy DeVos's long-awaited regulatory proposals that hit the streets last week on handling accusations of sexual abuse on campus. Now, Betsy DeVos said, "Wait a minute, we need to hear from both sides. The accused needs to be able to ask the accuser questions." I mean, but no, Hillary Clinton says if you accuse a man, he's guilty, except if it's my husband. It's just true. This is true stuff. This really happened. This is not made up. This is not make believe. She said Hillary Clinton was very clear. If a woman accuses a man of rape, of sexual misconduct, of sexual abuse, then we have to believe the woman, unless, of course, they accuse Bill. That's what I mean, literally, that's what she said. So Maxine Waters says in response to Betsy DeVos's new rules that boys have rights too. These young men have rights too, and their right is to be uh, to be heard. Their truth is to be heard. Their side is to be heard. Maxine Waters said, Betsy DeVos, you wouldn't get away with what you're doing. You won't get away with what you're doing. We're organizing to put an end to your destruction of civil rights protections for students. What students? There are no civil rights protections for male and female students. She should have said for female students, because these laws were all wrong for young men. They had no rights, no way to defend themselves at all. Joe Biden said on Facebook that the proposal would return us to the days when schools swept rape and assault under the rug and survivors were shamed into silence. Old Joe trying to cultivate that women's vote. Won't happen, Joe. The centerpiece, though, of this regulation is really interesting. And um, it's restoring the right of cross examination, one of the oldest and most hallowed as elements of due process. The Obama Education Department, responding to legitimate concerns about sexual abuse on campus, issued guidelines that were overboard, casting away many basic protections for the accused. The result has subjected victims and the accused to a system of campus justice, often controlled by amateurs and political activists. It's true. There's no question about that. So Title IX said they issued this guidance rule, and it says it circumvents this policy circumvents the normal rulemaking process. The Obama era sexual abuse guidance was essentially an administrative dictate. The public has no chance to comment, and universities, which understood federal funding was at risk, opted to delude standard legal protections for the accused students. Secretary DeVos instead followed the normal rulemaking process to create a balanced, well-making law process protecting victims' rights and the rights of the accused. The proposals include the right of every survivor to be taken seriously and the right of every person accused to know that guilt is not predetermined. Both the alleged victim and the accused would be able to inspect and review all evidence. Wow. So all Title IX hearings, this is the other side of this. All Title IX hearings now include cross-examinations, which would occur in person or by live stream, with campus adjudicators allowed to observe the demeanor of the witnesses as they assess credibility. The statements of anyone who refuses cross-examination could not be considered in the final determination. The Title IX judges would be required to consider both the uh, exculpatory and exculpatory evidence. Hmm. The proposed rule acknowledges how schools' treatment of both complainant and respondent could constitute discrimination on the basis of sex. It's about time that we brought some common sense and some fairness to this process. Young men's lives have been ruined because they decided not to call back a person they'd had sex with. That's how Mike Tyson got in trouble with that woman who accused him of raping her. She goes to his room at 2 o'clock at night with Mike Tyson, the heavyweight champion of the world, a man who is a physical phenom, and she doesn't expect to have sex. I mean, really? Whew, man. But I've heard women talk about Mike, and there were women who wanted to testify on Mike's behalf, and the judge, a white female judge, would not allow the women who were accusing the accuser of lying to testify. She wouldn't allow their testimonies in the court. That's what white women bring to the judiciary: racism. And nobody really wants to deal with that because they're women. I can tell you, white women in the judiciary, that's the biggest problem, not white men, as it relates to black men. But nobody wants to say that because the good blacks, especially good black, they don't want to disparage their contemporaries. And they don't want to be perceived as bad people because they're Democrats. Lord help me. Lord help me. But look, one of the things that we probably need to talk about, we're going to talk about when we come back, is certainly the Justice Roberts rebuking Donald Trump when Trump called the judge in the ninth district a Obama judge. It'll be interesting. Come back, talk to us. It's going to be interesting.
Kim Moline, co-owner of the Wingstop restaurants in Lansing and South Holland.
Hey, Tom, I've got to be honest. Although I was unhappy with our old payroll company, I was pretty apprehensive about transitioning into a new one. When it comes to payroll, delays and lost data are really unacceptable. But I'm happy to say your staff really made it easy for us, and the transition couldn't have been smoother. And now, as we consider taking advantage of some of the other services you offer, well, let's just say that next time we won't be so chicken.
Thanks, Kim. Just call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or check us out at the web at precisionpayroll.com. That's precisionpayroll.com. Kim Moline, co-owner of the Wingstop restaurants in Lansing and South Holland.
Hey, Tom, I've got to be honest. Although I was unhappy with our old payroll company, I was pretty apprehensive about transitioning into a new one. When it comes to payroll, delays and lost data are really unacceptable. But I'm happy to say your staff really made it easy for us, and the transition couldn't have been smoother. And now, as we consider taking advantage of some of the other services you offer, well, let's just say that next time we won't be so chicken.
Thanks, Kim. Just call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or check us out at the web at precisionpayroll.com. That's precisionpayroll.com.
Bailey. Judge, thank you for coming on this morning. How political did this decision look to you?
It looks very political. It looks like the same type of activist judges that the president has had to deal with throughout the term of his presidency are back at work.
Is this a stall tactic?
It very much is a stall tactic. I think the Supreme Court in Trump versus Hawaii in June, where it outlined that the presidential power in the area of immigration is quite broad.
Let me read you a quote here.
Wow, that was something. That was something. It's coming from a former appellate judge, Brainer. And he says that it's certainly a political move by this judge to stop the president from uh, letting people claim asylum who come into the country illegally. So, and it's really interesting that none of these people did that for DACA. How come no one challenged President Trump with DACA? There were lawsuits filed, and the courts wouldn't rule on it. I want to um, briefly talk about Justice Chief Justice John Roberts because I think he's a real danger to the American people. He's the person who Obamacare was dead. It was DOA. And the reason it was DOA is because it was a tax bill that was generated in the Senate. Tax bills don't come out of the Senate. Tax bills have to be generated, revenue bills have to be generated out of the House. I didn't say that. That's the Constitution. So Justice Roberts offered a rebuke to the president, whose description of a judge who ruled on his new immigration asylum policy as a Obama judge. So Roberts says, open quote, "We do not have Obama judges or Trump judges, Bush judges or Clinton judges. What we have is an extraordinary group of dedicated judges doing their level best to do equal right to those appearing before them." Roberts also added that independent judiciary is something we should all be thankful for. Well, remember, Justice Roberts is the person who gave Barack Obama and the House an out and declared the Obamacare bill a revenue bill and flipped the challenge, and now we have Obamacare, which has been horrible. They need to replace it, and they need to replace it with something similar but better. Now, this judge, Judge Tager, who is in the U.S. District Court in Northern California up in San Francisco, he issued a temporary restraining order on Monday saying that President Obama can't refuse asylum to immigrants who cross the southern border illegally if they do not arrive at a port of entry. Tager wrote this, open quote, "Whatever the scope of the president's authority, he may not rewrite the immigration laws to impose a condition that Congress has expressly forbidden." Congress didn't expressly forbid the president from denying people asylum who did not come through a legal port of entry. That's so he's lying. But but liberals don't care if they lie, whether they're officers of the court, whether they're members of Congress, or whether they're the president of the United States or sit in a judicial role. And I'm talking about the Supreme Court on down to, local courts. Roberts' comments came a day after President Trump targeted the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals and called the court a disgrace after a federal judge issued a nationwide injunction against his new restrictions. Now, you have to understand, President Trump won on the travel ban. All of these people were talking, oh, the travel ban is racist. Oh, it's Islamophobic. No, the travel ban was very legitimate and clear. But if you listen to the pundits, if you listen to the TV, if you listen to uh, the people from the House and the Senate, you listen to legal scholars, they were all, well, the travel ban is illegal. It's unconstitutional. No, it was very constitutional. And the thing was and is, people near Barack Obama had done the same thing. People near Barack Obama had done the same thing. Amazing. Amazing. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to take a short break, come back and pick up where we left off, and see why I think Roberts was wrong in rebuking the president. I guess he's trying to have some clarification. We'll be back. Take it up right here. Reality check.
Kim Moline, co-owner of the Wingstop restaurants in Lansing and South Holland.
Hey, Tom, I've got to be honest. Although I was unhappy with our old payroll company, I was pretty apprehensive about transitioning to a new one. When it comes to payroll, delays and lost data are really unacceptable. But I'm happy to say your staff really made it easy for us, and the transition couldn't have been smoother. And now, as we consider taking advantage of some of the other services you offer, well, let's just say that next time we won't be so chicken.
Thanks, Kim. Just call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or check us out at the web at precisionpayroll.com. That's precisionpayroll.com. Kim Moline, co-owner of the Wingstop restaurants in Lansing and South Holland.
Hey, Tom, I've got to be honest. Although I was unhappy with our old payroll company, I was pretty apprehensive about transitioning into a new one. When it comes to payroll, delays and lost data are really unacceptable. But I'm happy to say your staff really made it easy for us, and the transition couldn't have been smoother. And now, as we consider taking advantage of some of the other services you offer, well, let's just say that next time we won't be so chicken.
Thanks, Kim. Just call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or check us out at the web at precisionpayroll.com.
Okay, we are back. We're back. And now, Donald Trump has said, hey, you know what? We're going to retaliate against the Ninth District Court. We're going to retaliate. We'll get it right. And, but the president didn't say what they would do. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There we go. All right. I like that music. But the president is very serious. He said he's broadly criticized the practice of federal judges bringing unilateral halts to the executive branch policies. Again, judicial activism. You know, why do these people think that they can step in and stop this president from doing what he needs to do or what he feels he has to do? They fail to recognize his presidency as being legitimate. I don't know about you, but that causes me a great deal of concern and consternation. They said Trump specifically cited the Ninth Circuit's injunction against his ban on travel from several Muslim majority nations, which was ultimately ruled a constitutional exercise of presidential authority this year by the Supreme Court. Now, this is the other thing. Let's think about this for a second. DACA was ruled unconstitutional, and we're still talking about it. We're still acting like that is law. It was ruled unconstitutional. The president did not have the authority to issue such an executive order. I didn't say that. The court said it. But, you know, the media continues to hold DACA up as if it is some legitimate policy. It's unconstitutional. The president didn't have the authority to do what he did with the DACA children. And they're not children, by the way. Let me correct myself. A lot of these people are 34, 35, 36, 37, 38-year-old people. These are adults. And I think they need to go back to wherever they came from, and their parents need to be held accountable too. Now, it's interesting what Trump had to say about the Ninth Circuit. He said, you know, this is what he said. This is what his words. He said, "You go to the Ninth Circuit. It's a disgrace. I'm going to put a major. I'm not going." What he says. Well, this is what he says. You go to the Ninth Circuits, and it's a disgrace. I'm going to put in a major complaint because you cannot win if you're us a case in the Ninth Circuit. Yeah. So how can these judges be impartial if the president feels he can't win from the get go? And we know that he really can't because the deck is stacked against him in the Ninth Circuit. Every case gets filed in the Ninth Circuit. We get beaten. Then we end up having to go to the Supreme Court, like the travel ban, and we won. We're going to have to look at that. That's not law. That's not what the country stands for. He's absolutely right. I am tired of these justices moving to usurp the president. Um, I'm looking at some of the comments, and this one lady, Betty Beebe, she said, the latest illegal fascist move by Trump using our military for an illegal for civilian operations in the U.S. Then another person says, yet when Barack Obama threatened President Roberts, he was strangely silent. What a total disappointment Roberts has been. I agree with that. It's obvious from comments that regular folks haven't forgiven him for Obamacare. Still feel betrayed. No question. I said that from the get-go. Everyone knows the Ninth Circuit is a bastion of liberal decisions, but Trump is the only one with the nerve to tell it like it is. See, the president has the backing of who? The people. We, the people. So we've talked about a couple of things today. We talked about Saudi Arabia and President Trump's decision to uphold the claims of the Saudis who said, hey, we didn't kill this guy. We didn't like him, but I didn't order him killed. And the CIA saying, well, yeah, you did, but they didn't brief the president. They haven't taken him the information, and they expect him to make a decision on what they said based on what? Based on hearing that they concluded that the Crown Prince ordered this hit, and they won't bring him the information. They won't brief the president on the day, because the intelligence agencies, folks, the intelligence agencies are against the president too. They don't want this president to be successful. How can you not brief the president of the United States? The president is there for us, we the people. The CIA works for us, we the people. They work for the president. We're going to hold the president in check. We're the intelligence. Well, guess what? The president just said, if you won't brief me, fine. I'll draw my own conclusions. And guess what? My conclusion is that we're not going to do anything to the Saudis because you claim that the Crown Prince had this man killed, but you won't provide me with the details, with the information, because you are the shadow government, you are the deep state, and you don't want me to know what you know. It's crazy. Crazy. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. Hey, Thanksgiving is coming up, and Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays, even if there are those out there that say this should be a horrible holiday. This is the holiday we took the land from the Native Americans, and yada, 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 yada. Yeah, all that may be true. But the Indians were very humane people, are very humane people. And yeah, they helped the pilgrims through a rough patch. And I'm glad they did. I wish that the Lord had been kinder to the American Indian. When I look at these things that happen to people, happen to groups of people, it's very hard for me to reconcile God and faith, and it becomes very difficult at times. But that's why they call it faith and belief. But I know this, that we need to take care of our Indians. Some people want to call them Native Americans. They like the term Indians, from what I understand. And we need to take care of them. We need to make sure that they have housing and educations and opportunities to pursue the American dream. All that stuff. This was their land. Certainly, Chicago was belonged to where I'm living today, just north. I'm sorry, just south of the Chicago River. The Chicago River is right over there, right down there, I should say. Fort Dearborn is right down there. The man who founded Chicago, black man of Haitian descent, guy named DeSabo, had a little outpost right here on at the intersection of Michigan and Wacker. But you know, all of this land belonged to Indians, and I am glad though that we are now the United States of America, and I'm glad that the Indian populations, the Indian nations, are part of our country. They've been treated harshly. We need to do a better job of taking care of our Indians. And under this president, that will happen because he's a fair guy. I believe that. I believe that with all my heart. But people always tell me Trump can do no wrong with you. He's Donald Trump and he can't do any wrong. You just don't see this guy for what he is. Well, yeah, I do. He's a great American. Puts America first, like we should. Hope you enjoyed the show today. We're a little flat. It's the holiday coming up. It's been a long day. I want you to have a good holiday. Eat a lot of turkey. Share a lot of love with your family. Kiss everybody for me. Talk to you
Hey, this is
Friday.
Leonora Kubota from Red State Talk Radio for My Pillow. I used to have trouble sleeping.
Yeah, talk to you on Friday. Okay. We're out there. Oh, Jeannie. Betty Jean is out there. We say happy Thanksgiving to
Hey, this is Leonora
Betty
Kubota
Jean.
from Red State Talk Radio for My Pillow. I used to have trouble sleeping. My Pillow.
We're gonna say hello to Betty Jean and say hello. I didn't type that too well. I tell you that. Happy Thanksgiving. That's what I was putting in there. Thanksgiving. Yeah. It's going to be a great holiday. Happy Thanksgiving Day, Betty. Yep. So I just wished Betty a happy Thanksgiving, Betty Jean Chestnut. Thank you for tuning in. So yeah, I just hope that we all take better care of Americans, take care of all Americans, because at the end of the day, Indians on reservations are still American citizens, and we know that they've stood well and fought well with our country throughout history. I remember my daddy telling me about the Windtalkers, the Navajos back in World War II. He told me about that years ago, years before they made a movie about it. Amazing. Amazing. And the thing about the Tuskegee Airmen is that black servicemen didn't really know who they were. I found that to be rather strange. But there just wasn't a lot written about them unless you read the black newspapers, Pittsburgh Courier, Chicago Defender, Michigan Chronicle. Three of the biggies. We're going to sign off today and say again, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for tuning in. We will probably not do a show tomorrow, but I may just come on and do something. I don't know what. But if you're around, tune me in. You can always go to I got to do my YouTube. You got to change that good stuff out there. But Thanks for tuning in today. Have a great holiday season. Have a great Thanksgiving. And like I said, eat plenty of turkey and dressing and gravy. Take care.